Hi, this is Amy with Toolbox Tarot, and I'm here to do a reading for January 7th through January 13th, 2019. I'm going to do something different this week. I was going to do a reading, piggybacking along on the idea of projecting yourself into 2019. But when I thought about that, I realized that in recent weeks we've been looking back on 2018, and then after the new year, this last week, we've really been either finishing up thinking about 2018 or projecting ourselves into the future. And I felt really ungrounded when I thought about projecting myself forward. I felt like I didn't have anything to push off from, because around the holidays, you're contending with so much fantasy and expectation and overwhelm and food that's not good for you and a little extra alcohol and in a way you're not present. I don't know. So anyway, I was feeling like it would be a good idea to just do a reading about this week. And I set up a spread using the tools that tarot reminds us we have. And by that I mean the tarot is a structure that helps us to navigate through a very complex experience. So being a human on the planet, the different tools that we have available to us as individuals to understand the experience that we're going through as people. The way that the tarot breaks it down is that we've got our minds, our emotions. We can pay attention to what inspires us, and we understand the world through our physical bodies and the work that we do, and actually engaging in the physical world. So this is what I set up for the positions you'll see here. And I did a little, I thought about doing spirit here, but I changed it to situation, and I changed the card when I did that. I did, like I said in my paranoid video, I didn't choose these cards, go through and pull them out. I drew them. So it'll be a little bit of a wrestling match, but using the tool of our mind in this position up here, we have the student of knives. The student of knives, the element is air, and the student is someone who is willing to, actually, the whole position that this person is occupying is about being willing to be a student, right? So they want to do things that they don't already know how to do. So this week, when you're being in the moment, when you're actually living your life this week, you're invited to live it with curiosity. You're invited to approach it with an attitude that you don't already know, so that you can be open to seeing things that you wouldn't see if you thought you knew what you could expect. This particular card, this is a slow holler deck. This person is reflecting, using the reflection of their knife to see what's going on behind them, which is pretty crafty, but it's not necessarily the best way to move forward. They do have a knife in their other hand, and if they're moving forward at all, it could be dangerous to move around that way. But you know what? She's trying it out. They're a scientist, so there's that. You're invited to be like that person this week. Using the tool of your emotions to understand that you're in this actual week, that this is your life. Using your emotions. This talks about a situation that is likely to come up. It will look very different. Probably comes up every day in some way or another. So you can look for this situation this week. The Two of Knives describes a situation where there's two ideas that are equally valid that are completely contrary to each other. And if it's something that's going on inside of you, this way of thinking about one thing, and you can see two very different points of view, the position is inviting you to use your emotions to understand this situation. So when you're feeling defensive, look how defensive this person looks, and how vulnerable, really, and sad. To look below the situation that seems impossible at the feelings that are connected with it, and to respond to the feelings, and that will help you move forward, or to understand the situation better. In the third position this week, when you're being in the world and you're actually living this week, being present in your life, you're invited to understand the world through your passion with this card, which is a major arcana card. So the tool of checking in with what inspires you, right? Recognizing that you understand the world by paying attention to what makes you feel fizzy or sparkly or that kind of thing. It says that that's where you're participating. The fledgling is often called the Fool. It's the major arcana card. The Fool is the hero of the whole tarot. The Fool is your innocence. If you think about Little Red Riding Hood, the Fool is like Little Red Riding Hood in that she just wants to go see her grandma. And so she wants to share her goodies. She's got this basket of goodies and she wants to go see her sweet old grandma. And that's all. She's not worried about anything else. She just goes off and she enters into the woods and is taken up by an adventure. So this week, when you are understanding the world with what makes you feel passionate. I think that the Fool really talks about a lack of premeditation. It's the opposite of craftiness. So if you want to know the world with your passion, if you want to engage this week with your passion, it's about showing up and not trying to already know what you can expect when you do. So, in the element of earth, this is very interesting because it's another major arcana card, and it's like the opposite of being grounded. So, I feel like when we look at this card in this position for this week, I'll talk about the card first, and then we can figure out what it means. The card is about acknowledging your inner life, about saying, yes, I've got all these tools at my disposal through which I can understand my experience, but when you meet the oracle, or the high priestess, as it's usually called, this place that the high priestess rules over is a place that the tools that we use to understand the world aren't the correct tools. I suppose that's not exactly true, but it's about feeling your way forward, being in the unknown, and recognizing that even though you can see with your eyes the world, and you can touch, the hard surfaces and the soft surfaces, and you can use your sense of smell and taste and all that stuff, that there's also an internal world. So I think it's another card that speaks to feeling ungrounded. And if that's the case, this card invites you to let go and to not fight against it. To just say, sure, you're feeling untethered and like you don't know what's going on. And that's just as much a part of being alive as knowing what is going on and feeling like you know what to do next. And if you fight against that, you're going to miss out on what you can learn by having a relationship with the unknown. So, how about that for a weekly reading? I hope it's, I could do an action or a healing card, but let me know if you want me to pull an action or a healing card for any one of the positions here, or a clarifying card. If there's something that you feel that we could, I kind of want to pull a clarifying card for the High Priestess or the Oracle. I'm going to. Sorry. This video just got a little bit longer. I'm just going to do a quick shuffle and see when it comes to the Earth card. Maybe it'll be, how about if we do a healing card? Oh, I don't know. No, I'm going to do a clarifying card. So this will just help clarify the situation. And it's the Navigator. which is yet another major arcana card, which is normally called the Emperor. So, for me right now, that would say just follow the rules. You are feeling ungrounded. You are in the unknown. You have to figure out how to be okay with that sometimes, and to have a relationship with the deeper parts of yourself, your subconscious, your unconscious life. But even while you're in this space, you can follow the rules that you have, understand what your values are, and even if you're feeling all discombobulated and a little bit like a balloon, a helium balloon caught up in a tree branch, if you just stick with the rules, stick with what you know is right, you'll find your way. Your values will help you get through a time when you're not feeling grounded. So, chart your use the course that you already had charted. All right, that's the reading for this week. I'm trying out new stuff. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I hope that you have a great week.